Hello everyone out there in internet land. This is not an age restricted video, and if you're not 18 you can certainly watch this video. So here is the garden, bam bada bomb, and there's some Luca right there. Right here we have our little watermelon patch, and we planted in some like clovery type stuff, but here is our watermelons that have popped up this year. I've got one here and I've got one there. And I'm going to wrap those kind of around alongside the rose bushes. And as you can see, the rose bushes are doing extremely well, to the point that I'm even going to have to start bracing some of these up because they're just doing fantastic. I mean, they're nearly reaching this 8-foot structure. Doing really, really well. This is a lavender rose that I picked up this year, and it's already taken off and off to the races. I've got this beautiful pink rose in here, and this one it's different in the way that its petal structure is, and it smells kind of like your grandma. Really, really wonderful. This is a sweet yellow rose, and these yellow roses are kind of my favorite profile of the ones we have so far. Very, 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 very prolific. These came on early, and they came on strong. As we kind of wrap around here, look at that boy. Look at that boy. As we come around here, you can see we've got some kind of traditional red roses, and these kind of pop off where you're getting these kind of single canes, and you get that kind of traditional red rose look. I have these other pink roses back here. This red rose and these pink roses are ones that I had cloned off neighbors. So these are all clones that came off of neighbors. Really stoked about that. And then over here we have the mushroom hut. As you can see, the tree is completely filled out with foliage, and is now made a little protective cave that I can go into and kind of service and monitor my bins. And in here we have this newest bin we did, and this was a demo that I released I think just yesterday. If you go onto my channels, YouTube or Instagram, you'll see a video, a how-to on how to lasagna layer and create a bin for your mushroom growth. This is a blue oyster mushroom from Brown Bottle Farms here in Malino, Oregon. And I'm really stoked to hopefully develop a relationship with those folks. They have a ton of mushroom compost, and they also have a bunch of spent blocks. And like I mentioned in the video, a lot of these mushroom farms, one of the labor intensive processes is removing these spent blocks out of the plastic that they put them in. So if you're able to, you know, kind of chat with the folks, a lot of times they will give you those spent blocks so that they don't have to deal with removing the plastic. And I'm the kind of guy who doesn't mind. So you could get spent blocks, and there's a lot of really good vitality in those blocks. Over here we have our Azzy bin. Let's take a peek. Ooh, as you can see, our mycelium is strong in here. Let me back this out a little bit so I can get closer. As you can see, the mycelium in here, even at the soil level, is strong. And as you get down into the wood chips, it's even stronger. This is a solid cake of mycelium. There was some clover in here. It's kind of like a little ground cover. I did go ahead and feed them another couple inches of wood chips because they had consumed kind of everything to the top. And so when you're building these bins, you want to leave yourself a little headspace so that you can add wood chips, and they will continue to bring them down, digest them, and colonize, which is exactly what you want. This bin over here, I put in some ovoids, and I also put in some wine caps. And so I'm not sure who's going to be the dominator, or if they're going to be nice and share. But the mycelium in here is really taken off. And this was a bit of a struggle. I started out with some really weak mycelium in here, and I would say over the last 2 months, it has really kind of picked up, taken off, and solidified. And so now I'll just continue to feed this bin over the summer and try to build it up and cake it out, and hopefully I'll get some fruits either way. And now one of the things I talked about, you know, with Brown Bottle Farms is their spent blocks, but they also have tons and tons of really high quality mushroom compost. And so this whole back section is full of just old limbs and logs, and it's pretty shaded out. So I'm going to go ahead and get all of that mushroom compost I can and try to bury these almost in a Hugo style. And then I'm going to add a bunch of those spent blocks and then just see if we could just turn this whole corner of this section into a little mushroom farm area. Will be all culinary ones. With the spent blocks, I'll probably get a multitude of stuff. I definitely want to try to pick up on some lion's mane, as that's something I use a lot. Let's go ahead and take a look at the rest of the garden. Rest of the garden's looking really good. I got some thyme in here going off. All my herbs are looking really spectacular, which you'll see here in a second. And all my carrots are up. I got to get in here and start thinning some of these out. These bins where Dolly got in and was raising hell, they're already starting to show some signs of life, bouncing back. I got some carrots bouncing back in those. Same as these over here. We've got some life coming back, so this will kind of stagger these harvests a bit so that I can go ahead and get a little more out of it in timing. Everything won't be coming out at once. And one of the things I really focused on was the carrot. The reason I did a lot of the carrot is I'm doing these carrot ferments as a molasses alternative. Molasses is kind of a targeting sugar. One of the specific groups is the E. coli groups and stuff like that. And so what I found in doing some research is the carrot ferment provides a broader, much broader spectrum of sugar, carbs, and greatness that your microbes like to break down in a wider, broader variety of them. Another thing that I've been doing is finding these tomato volunteers. All of this living soil came from my spent living soil pile that I keep on the side of the house. And I had grown a bunch of tomatoes back there last year. So I've got several of these tomato volunteers that came up from last year. And so I'll have to get, now that these, I wanted to wait till they're at least 4 or 5 inches tall before I kind of dug them out of here and started getting them new homes to hang out in. Our potato volunteer is doing really well. This was a volunteer gold potato from last year. So we'll get some potatoes out of that. And I love the idea that if you just leave a few potatoes in the ground every year, you're gonna get potatoes. So how cool is that? These are my gold beets. I came in and thinned out these a bit. These gold beets needed to be thinned out maybe a little more, but I got in there and did some of the work on them. I also have this lilac bush, and I'll talk more about it when we wrap around. If you remember, this lilac bush was about 1 foot tall when we put it in the ground about a month and a half ago. So it has really exploded and taken off. These are the rose bushes that I cloned from the neighbors around the neighborhood. Once I bought a rose for my wife, and there was a tag on the bottom that says it is illegal to clone this rose, I thought, holy shit, you can clone these things? So I started cloning them immediately. And so now I've got quite a few. I think I've got 4 or 5 rose bushes now that I have started just from cloning them. Over here we have some rosemary. It's kind of getting shadowed out. Some more thyme that's kind of blooming out. My carnations are coming up. I keep this in here to keep the dogs out. As you can see, they kind of stomped out this area. Damn jerks. Then we've got some more thyme, and this oregano bin, this fabric pot full of oregano is just crazy. I mean, it's so full of oregano and it smells so good. I got a little volunteer garlic in here from last year. I got a couple of them in here, and then we've got a little Z pie in here kind of sneaking in. And I put this thing out over a month ago, and as you can see, it did not convert into flower. So I got pretty lucky on that. I started this as a ginger bin. So hopefully I'll get some ginger popping up out of that. We also have some more volunteer potatoes that came up here. So these potatoes are also gold potatoes, and those cycle out pretty quickly, so I should be getting some potatoes to eat here real soon. Over here we've got our strawberry bin. This is our Thai basil, and of all the basils, Thai basil is absolutely hands down my favorite. I'm not super into that really licoricey anise kind of flavor, so I find the Thai basil to be a little more tolerable for me. As you can see, the strawberries are booming. I need to get in here and start cutting out some of these runners. I have identified these. I've had a few ripe ones off these smaller berries, and they are really, really flavorful. So I really want to focus on these. Went to the plant sale last year and picked up about 6 different varieties. So I've been trying to kind of isolate the ones that I like the most and then kind of get those propagated and spread out. This bin here is just kind of a mixed bin of stuff. Got a little rosemary, a little thyme getting choked out in the back. This oregano is aggressive, and this is my sage. The sage smells wonderful, it is beautiful, and I'm going to go ahead and get it kind of harvested out of here, and I'm going to make some sage tincture out of this. I've got this really cool mix of stuff that I'm coming up with for just kind of an overall body protector. Lymphatically, liver, all kinds of good stuff. It helps with cell damage, helps prevent your cancerous type situations. So I'll be having that hopefully released soon and give you guys some more information on that. But the sage tincture is going to be part of that process. Here is the little herb station doing really well. The pink Jackie is kind of blooming out. It's still blooming up as it goes, but as you can see, a lot of it is already kind of cycled out. This is a specific type of mullein that I think is very interesting because it's not like that fuzzy leaf mullein. I'm not really using it for any medicinal purposes because I'm not sure what the chemistry behind the pink Jackie is. But I thought it was really cool, and someone gave it to, I think my daughter-in-law actually gave this to me, so pretty stoked on that. Got my rosemary going here. So this herb garden, I've already been harvesting a ton of herbs out of here, getting those passed out to folks in the neighborhood. We've got this horehound here. Horehound is a plant that's kind of used for throat lozengers. It's kind of like a Ricola. You can make candies, and a lot of the old timers would literally make candy out of this horehound. I saw it on the thing and I thought, horehound? I would like a horehound. So I grabbed it. Lemon tree is bouncing back. I really suck at lemon trees, but hey, it looks like I'm going to get a second shot at it. So that's cool. Pretty stoked about that. We'll go ahead and wrap around here and look at some of this stuff. I have been on the hunt probably for the last 2 months to try to find these Manzano peppers. These Manzano peppers are a cold tolerant pepper. They really don't like temperatures much above 80, 85 degrees, and they don't require a ton of sun, direct exposure, and they can handle some really, really cold temperatures. So getting them to overwinter here this year will be the hope and the dream. Because if I can get this to overwinter and establish well, these pepper plants can live for up to 15 years and turn into small little tree type shrubs and produce a ton of peppers. So I looked everywhere for these things, and their seeds are different. They're like these larger black seeds, and they're not super easy to germinate. I tried that and was not super successful. So I found at my local Wilco, I was going in there for some cucumber starts, and I looked down and I saw a whole tray of yellow Manzano peppers. And these Manzano peppers are pretty perishable, and they don't grow well in super hot climates, so you don't see them a lot. And I did find them in a specialty section, and they were $7.99 a pound for these peppers. So I really like them. They're a thick wall bell pepper looking thing, smaller and pretty hot. I mean, hotter, I would say as hot or hotter than a jalapeno. And they're thick walled, and Manzano in Spanish, I believe, is apple. and they do look like these little yellow apple-shaped peppers. Super delicious, super happy about that. Hope they take off. I did have some issues with some rust starting, but I came in with my labs, my lactic acid bacteria, and I started hitting them with that, as it's going to kind of outcompete that fungi and kind of go to town on it. And so far it's done a really good job. All of the rusting seems to have been reversed, and they are doing great. These are all my sunflowers that are popping up. This section here was under the iron dome of greatness, and they are doing a lot better than the ones that were left out for the slugs and bugs to eat. So that'll be a highly recommended process in the future. Got our bird bath. We got a few rocks in here that we keep together. This is basically designed so that bees and other insects can kind of fly in and land down and get something to drink, as well as the birds. Here is our strawberries. They're already starting to pop off. And this particular one makes these really giant strawberries, and they look really good. So as you can see in here, we're starting to get some action in here, and I'm already eating fresh fruit, which is fantastic. Over here's our Hugo bed. All of this crop cover has blown up, and what I'm going to do with this crop cover is I'm going to mow it down. As you can see over here, I kind of wanted to show you here. I just came in with a sickle and I just dropped all this. And so I'm going to drop this entire bed, and then I'm going to mound on it at least another foot of that living soil that I have back there in the pile. And then when the weather warms up, I'm going to plant in all of my hot chili peppers. Speaking of chili peppers, I threw a couple out just to see how they would handle it. We have been down in the mid to low 40s at night, and raining, like raining. So they've actually done a lot better than I thought they would. I expected them to be completely stunted out, but as you can see, they're perky and kind of happy. It'll be 42 tonight, so we'll see how that goes. But what I'm doing is I'm coming along, and as I start seeing these little flower sites, I'm kind of pinching all of these off, and that's going to keep it in a vegetative mode. Once they get pollinated as flowers, they're like, oh, okay, cool, we'll just stop growing and just pump out peppers. So you don't really want that. I do have this shade cloth situation for them in the burning sun. If you grow peppers and you see those kind of tan, messed up areas on the pepper, that's because it's gotten sunburned. They like direct sun, but they don't like super intense sun. I've got some more strawberries in this little pot here, and I'm getting a lot of runners, and I really need to get in and get these runners planted and start prolificating all of my strawberries. Over here is my hydrangea. It's doing really good this year. It took a beating last year. It came in kind of late in the season, and it was hot, and so man, she took a beating, but she bounced back really well this year. I've been feeding her foliarly with the fish, the blackberry, and the labs, and that's what I've been foliar feeding all of this garden. I've got this tomato set up. I'm going to be scrogging these on these cattle panels, but I went to plant in, and this is what I found. Looks like an old foundation for a deck. Now this thing is about 3 inches in diameter, goes about 2 feet deep, and is solid concrete. So I think I might rent a jackhammer and just kind of bust this thing up to get it out, or I'm just going to try to dig it out and roll it out. I thought I could roll it out, but if you see how deep it is in this hole, I don't think I'm going to be able to roll it out. So I think busting it up and getting it out of here is probably the only way I'm going to get it out, unless I can get a group of extremely strong dudes and women, or dudes, to come help me pull this out. Over here we have our Larata or Larat potatoes. These are all the fingerling potatoes we planted. These are some of our sunflowers that are bursting out of the seams. I had to kind of fence all this stuff in to keep the dogs out. But as you can see, these potatoes have absolutely exploded. And so now I'm not feeding them any more nitrogen now because I want them to focus more on their tuber growth. They like a lot of potassium there towards the end, as they're kind of processing through their life cycle. This is the other side of that lilac tree. And as you can see, it has really come up and looks super, super nice. I'm really excited about that. We got a little more rosemary here. And we got this little maple tree that came in, landed. The little helicopter landed in the pot and made me a tree. So I'm pretty stoked about that. I'm not sure exactly where I'm going to put it yet. But we're going to do that. As you can see, the bamboo bush is still dead. And I'm really shocked to see that there has been no germination of any of the seed that has dropped. We got some carrots in here coming up. This was just a throwaway bin. I just threw stuff in here, and these are all chili peppers, just random mixed peppers in here. So I'll thin these out and get those going. I was kind of stoked to see the seeds took off, and they did well. One thing I do want to mention is this clumping bamboo kind of shot over here, and as you can see, this clump is fully alive, and I have a small section, a small clump alive as well. And here I threw in some parsley, some chives, and some carrots, just to see. It was kind of a holdover. If I had extra seeds, I just kind of threw them in this section. I put down these tomato cages for now to keep the dogs out of there, to keep it going. So doing good on that. Greenhouse is doing really good. Been working in it a lot, especially as it's been raining. I've been able to work in there. Over here we have our raspberries. The raspberries are doing really, really good. We've already had some bloom out. And then we're going to get some more of these here where these little pods will pop up, bloom out. And then we'll be getting some raspberries here hopefully shortly. But as they've been kind of spreading out of their little containment area, I've been digging them up and putting them in pots. And so I have given away several, 4 or 5 actually, but I've got all these raspberry bushes here that I've dug up and transplanted in the pots, and they're all taken off and doing really well. These are my tomatoes that I picked up from the plant sale. They're in these pots as holdovers. When I got them, they weren't in the greatest of shape, and so I'm really trying to nurse them back to health and get them looking good, because these are my brandywines. I got the red potato, whatever. What is this one? It is called the, let's see what it is. It is the red leaf potato variety. So those will be my brandywines this year. I have also a black creme in here and a Cherokee purple in here. This is a lemon boy, which is a smaller yellow pepper. My volunteer potatoes are getting ravaged by the bug over here. Whatever bug's over here is just effing up my volunteer potato over here. We got a little tiki rain sitting out. We got some flowers. But I wanted to show you the progress of my plum trees. The plum trees have really taken off. I've been in here doing a lot of pruning and cleaning these up to keep their branches nice and stripped out, so we can focus all of our growth on all of everything up here. The other plum tree is doing extremely well. Over here we have some of the sunflowers, and as you can see, they've taken a little bit more of a beating than the others that were over there in the protected area. So yeah, we've got all kinds of good stuff going on here. Garden's looking great. I'm excited, and we're just kind of getting into planting season. So all the root crops have been planted and doing well. These tomatoes, with it being like 40 and raining, they're really not going to do a lot of growth. So I got to make sure that the roots don't get kind of rotted out in these pots, and that they stay healthy until I can get that area figured out to get them in the ground. And then once it warms up, they'll take off. They're not like chili peppers where they'll stunt and not continue to grow. They just kind of metabolically shut down until the warmer weather starts coming through. And this happened to us last year. We had probably the same scenario where it was in the mid to low 40s and pouring down rain, probably around the 8th of June even. And so it stunted quite a bit of the peppers that I had, and they just did not do well. So all of the chili peppers I have are in the house right now. They're in 1 and 3 gallon pots. They're all looking really good. So I can't wait to start getting the soil temperature up so that I can get them out into the ground. You want to have at least 55, 60-degree nights for at least a week or so. You want to know you're not going to get tricked like I did last year as well. So timing on your peppers is important. And when you start them indoors, if you start them too early and you don't have the space or the adequate light, they get out of control really fast and then you get hosed. So timing your indoor pepper germination is pretty important, and to make sure you have adequate lighting and space for them in case your season does stall out and does stay pretty wet and it takes you a minute to get everything out. So that is the update of the garden, folks. I'm really excited to start eating some fresh food, some fresh produce. I think I would die to have a Brandywine tomato right now. It's been months and I feel like I'm jonesing. Take care of each other, everyone. Get out there, get dirty, and take care of each other. It's not that hard. All right, everyone out there, growers love.